Hello everyone, and welcome to Galaxy 89 Cars. Today, thanks to the team at Joe Macari, I'm honoured to be bringing you an in-depth tour of a 2002 Bugatti EB110 Supersport, here in a deep black with a lipstick red interior. Only 139 EB110s were ever produced. Unveiled in 1991, the EB110 was released 110 years after the birth of Ettore Bugatti, the company's founder. It was reincarnated by Italian businessman Romano Artioli. The name of the car plays homage to Ettore, by using his initials and that anniversary. In 1995, the Italian-owned Bugatti unfortunately went bankrupt due to expensive engine development costs and acquiring Lotus. There were, however, models left unfinished with all their components and chassis. So, the automotive engineering company Dow Sportswagen, which also went bankrupt in 2008, bought all the remaining EB110 components and assembled the final cars. That is how this car gets its name and its late build date of 2002. As this is a fairly young and well looked after example, it has covered only 1,050 miles. The SS is a lighter and more powerful version of the already impressive EB110. The car is powered by a 3.5 litre quad-turbo rear mid-engine V12 that produces 604 brake horsepower. This engine was later used as the basis for the new 16.4 found in the Veyron and Chiron. Output reports are quite varied, but come out generally around 3.2 seconds for the 0 to 62 mph, or 100 km/h time, with a top speed of 216 mph. Just as its quad-turboed engine, the EB110 features quad pipes at the rear which have quite a substantial diameter. Unfortunately, I didn't get an opportunity to start the car. The car features two main wheel designs from BBS, a solid version with small spokes, and these 18-inch front and rear wheels, which are slightly dished at the back. Let's take a more in-depth look at the car from front to back. The front starts with the iconic Bugatti central grille, but here a lot smaller than in newer iterations. It helps to break up the long, low air intakes above the splitter. On either side, there are further vents that send air out over the front wheel arches, with the segment on the left taking a different structure. Two smaller vents sit between the bonnet and the sloping angular integrated lights that add so much aesthetic design to the car. The aero outlets from the front vents can be seen just before the wheel arches. Moving along, the simple electrically adjustable wing mirrors stand proudly atop the arches. The electric windows can be partially wound down, leaving a solid inverted V of glass above. On the roof there is a small dorsal fin, which may include the antenna. Moving back down, air is diffused from the wheel arches using another grille behind, with an aero segment built into the side of the car which runs into the rear cooling ducts. As we move over the side and make our way back to the top, we encounter a significant amount of cooling vents and those signature oval grilles for the almighty engine. Behind all of this is the adjustable GT-style rear wing with its inverted side planes. At the very rear, there are even more cooling grilles centrally, with the capsule-shaped lights on either side. Built mainly from carbon fibre, the EB110 SS comes in with a curb weight of around 1,500 kilograms, which is lighter than its younger brother the Veyron, but heavier than relevant competition of the time from Ferrari in the form of the F40 and F50. However, it does have a higher top speed. Below, there are more vents behind the rear wheel arches and the rear diffuser that extends out. Let's now take an in-depth look at the interior. The scissor doors are opened by pulling out a concealed lever on the underside of the door. They raise up on a single hinge. The interior of the doors have quite a simple design, a concealed door release, red Alcantara centrally, with electric mirror controls ahead of the handle and no storage compartment below. This interior has been described as lipstick red by the sellers and features square quilted leather throughout, with black highlights such as the dial cluster, central display and vents. The sill features a non-illuminated Bugatti sill plaque. The car is low and the sill area is deceptively wide. Combined with the interior space being quite limited, I personally felt quite cramped inside, with the seat as far back as it could go. On each side, the red square quilted leather flows from near the top of the seats right down into the footwells. In front, the first thing we encounter on the dash is the front bonnet release catch, which is easily pulled out. The bonnet itself is very light as it is constructed from carbon fibre. I was expecting to find a small storage area below, but instead this is where a lot of the electronic components are housed. With this pushed back down, we can move back into the car where we find the first of 5 dash top air vents. The 3 ahead are located so far forward, presumably for demist functions. The wheel carries design simplicity with just one function, steering. Here I attempt to demonstrate how offset the pedals are in comparison to the driving position. The dials ahead are set in a carbon inlay. The first is for oil and water temperatures. Next is the rev counter with the speedo to its right. The final 2, which are further along, are the fuel gauge and clock with hazard light button above. Carbon inlays continue down the central column. At the top are 2 plastic simple directional vents. Below are the electric window controls on each side, with the temperature and fan speed moving in, and centrally the general ventilation controls. A video file covering the 6-speed manual transmission corrupted, so unfortunately I won't be able to bring you that, or the usual POV interior tour, but I will continue with the rest of the interior. A small patch of leather is knitted behind the stick, highlighting the gear layout. Quilted leather runs up from here until it reaches the rear view window. Rear view is fairly compromised, but you do get a spectacular view of the engine bay. Returning back down, we find the final feature along the central column, the leather upholstered handbrake. The carbon bucket seats felt very supportive and actually surprisingly comfortable as they're padded well, seen in particular at the bottom. Securing you into them are standard single-point seatbelts. 2 leather Bugatti bags are located behind the passenger seat. The larger has documentation inside, but the smaller one houses safety equipment. Ahead of the passenger is a small open glove compartment with no other storage in the car. Above are the equally slight leather upholstered sun visors, with exterior lighting controls oddly found above the driver and a solitary aircraft style air vent. So that concludes my tour of this dour Bugatti EB110 Supersport, which at the time of publishing is currently for sale at Joe Macari. Please find all of their details in the description of the video. Please subscribe for the latest content, and until next time, cheers.